What is going on, guys? It's CW Gaming bringing you a brand new series on the channel. We're going to try this out today. This is the first episode of Madden 19 Rebuilds. So basically, if you don't know what's going on, we have 5 years to try and take a team to the Super Bowl. And this is a big team that needs to be rebuilt. It is the Miami Dolphins. As you see there, 74 overall, 75 offense, 77 defense, and it is our job to rebuild this team. So basically we have 5 years to do that, and this is with updated rosters as of a few weeks ago from the offseason. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at our depth chart roster, and we're going to assess what we need to do. So at quarterback position we have Ryan Fitzpatrick, the 13-year veteran out of Harvard. And he's a 78 overall. We're going to be looking to get past him at the end of this year. He's just kind of there to help a young quarterback learn, like Luke Falk, who's a rookie. So we're going to see kind of what Luke Falk can do. We may draft a quarterback. I'm not sure yet. At halfback, we have Kenyon Drake. He's a 2-year out of Alabama. So he should progress pretty well. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do, but we have some room to work at the halfback position. Wide receiver, we have Kenny Stills, 5 years out of Oklahoma. He's a pretty decent wide receiver, 84, so he should be pretty good. And the rest of the receiving core, Albert Wilson, Devontae Parker, Jakeem Grant. We have a pretty young receiving core, 3 guys in the 80s, so we'll see what those guys can do. And we'll move on to tight end. Tight end, we have Dwayne Allen and Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's a rookie. He should develop pretty well. Dwayne Allen, I'm not sure what we want to do with him yet. If he asks for more money, we'll probably let him walk. Because we have Mike Gesicki here, who should be a pretty good tight end. So when that plays out, we'll see exactly what we need to do. On to the offensive line, we have Laramie Tunzel at 85, 2 years out of Ole Miss. So we have our left tackle there that we'll probably use for the whole series. And then left guard, Chris Reed. It depends on how well he develops. He's at 70, only 3 years, so he's still pretty young. We'll see how that works for him. Daniel Kilgore at center. He's getting old, so we might need to look at a center in the draft or free agency. Right guard, we have Jesse Davis, 70 overall, 2 years. He could develop. We're just going to have to see how that plays out. Right tackle, Sam Young, 66 overall, 8 years. So we'll be looking for a new right tackle in the draft probably. And on to the defensive side, Charles Harris out of Missouri. He's only been 1 year, so he has plenty of time to develop. We'll see how that works. We have Robert Quinn, right end. I think he should be pretty good. If he asks for more money, we'll tell him to walk, and we'll look to upgrade that position as well. Davon Godchaux from LSU, I hope I said that right, 79 overall, as well as Hakeem Spence, 5 years. As well as Hakeem Spence, 5 years, defensive tackle, 74. Linebackers, Jerome Baker's 78. He could develop. We have Raquan McMillan, 76. Kiko Alonso at 76. And then for the secondary, Xavier Howard, 83, and Minka Fitzpatrick. We might end up moving Minka to a safety position. We could move. We'll probably wait to the end of this year to see what we can do at corner, and we might move Minka to a safety. TJ McDonald, 75, and then we have Rashid Jones at 84, as well as our kicker. So that's all we're going to do for special teams. It's time to get into the first year and kind of see how this team is going to function. Okay, so we're back in the mid-season, We're 0-8. The Miami Dolphins are 0-8, and look at that offense regress. That is insane. We should have a pretty good draft pick, though. We're going to negotiate some contracts now. We have 7 guys want a new contract. And Nick O'Leary, the tight end, he's quick development. How old is he? He's 26. That's a pretty big contract from him. Let's yank that down to a 1 year. Yeah, he didn't like that very much. Bryce Butler, we'll probably let him walk. Jonathan Woodard, right end, probably let him walk as well. Jesse Davis, the right guard, 68 overall. Should be a 70, but that confidence. We'll offer him. I don't think we have a. Yeah, I don't think we have a big backup position. Yeah, all these guys want more money, and I just don't think we should grab that. Isaiah Ford, he's young. We'll offer him a 1 year. If he takes it, he takes it, and that's what he does. And then I think we'll let the rest of these guys walk. So we'll have one more opportunity to re-sign these guys at the end of the year. And we'll get into scouting college players. And we're back at the end of year 1. Doesn't look like we did very good. And we went 0-15-1. So we didn't win a single game with this roster. You can look at the good side. We have a first round, probably the number 1 overall pick. And we will get into the offseason here in just a minute. But we'll go ahead and look at some stats, yearly awards. Matt Ryan won the MVP for the NFL, so that's pretty good. Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt was on there as well. Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. And we'll check out some stats. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 3,200 yards, 16 TDs, 10 interceptions. So that is really bad. So we'll be drafting a quarterback in the first round, most likely. Rushing, Kenyon Drake, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not the best. Hoping he can improve that pretty well in the coming years. Receiving, Dwayne Allen, our tight end, had the most, 756, 4 touchdowns. Albert Wilson, Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills. Not the best receiving core. So hopefully when we upgrade our quarterback in the draft, we can improve our receiving. As well as our defense. Raquan McMillan, 123 tackles. Jerome Baker. So our linebackers did pretty good. Corners did pretty good as well. We still need to upgrade our defensive line, which we will probably do in the next year or so. But my main focus right now is our offensive line and our quarterback. So it looks like up in the left corner of the Super Bowl, the Falcons and the Browns met for Super Bowl 53, and the Falcons beat the Browns 27-23. So very unexpected Super Bowl, but nonetheless, we have to negotiate these contracts. Nick O'Leary, tight end. I think we might as well just let him walk. We have Dwayne Allen and Gillespie, the backup tight end. So we'll let those guys walk, I think. Bryce Butler, he wants a pretty big contract. The right guard is kind of... So at the end of free agency, we took a right guard in TJ Lang, 82 overall. We're paying him $19 million over 3 years. I don't think that's too bad. We upgraded that position a little bit. We also signed Geronimo Allison. He's a deep threat. He's 26 years old, $17 million. We needed a wide receiver, so we signed him. Not the best wide receiver, but he has a quick depth trait, so he should be able to develop into something that we can add to the depth chart at receiver. So pretty good, not too expensive. We have pretty good drafts, so we'll see what we can do in the draft. So here's our team at the start of year 2. Kyler Murray, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Luke Falk at the quarterback position. So Ryan Fitzpatrick should be there to help Kyler Murray progress a little bit if this was realistic. We have Kenyon Drake at halfback, Kenny Stills, Grant, Wilson, Parker, and Marquise Brown is there as well. So we have a good receiving core. I think we're fine on that. We're still working to upgrade our offensive line. We're going to be drafting a right tackle this year most likely, as well as a left guard and a center. We did pick up TJ Lang as well as right guard, so that's fine. We're still waiting on Gesicki to upgrade as well. We're going to take a look at him real quick. 76 quick, 1 year out of Penn State, so I mean, not a bad tight end at all. So hopefully he can, on the defensive side of the ball, not a terrible defense. Minka Fitzpatrick at 82, Xavier Howard at 84. Defensive line's not looking terrible. We need to upgrade our safety and our linebackers at the end of this year as well. So we're going to go ahead and get into this year, our second season. We're going to sim to midseason to see kind of what's going on there. So middle of year 2, the Dolphins are 3-5. Not the best, kind of what I expected though. Defense is upgraded to a 79. We're still at a 77 for the offense. So we need to keep upgrading that offensive line. Let's check out the defense. See what's going on here. Defensive line's doing pretty good. Linebackers and safeties and corners doing pretty good. So all the pieces are there. We just need to upgrade some more. And we're going to take a look at some of these contracts as well. Laramie Tunzel, quick development, as well as Xavier Howard, cornerback, quick. So we'll be re-signing those guys. Robert Quinn, he's getting older, but we really don't have a replacement. As well as Devontae Parker, he wants a lot of money. Kenyon Drake does as well. So we're going to try and see what we can do with these contracts. 5 years, quick development for Laramie Tunzel. Glad we got the deal done, yes sir. On to Xavier Howard. These guys are really going to need to re-sign, and that's what he does. We're looking good so far. Robert Quinn, I feel like we're going to have an issue with. He's going to be wanting more money at the end of his contract. Yep, he wants more money. Devontae Parker wants $22 million over 3 years. He takes it. Kenyon Drake, 24. That's kind of a lot of money, but he takes it. Punter, an 81 quick punter. That's pretty good. Glad we got the deal done. Thank you, Jerome Baker. We're forking out some money, it looks like, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. We still have a pretty good salary cap. Glad we got the deal done. Jerome Baker, the left outside linebacker. He looks like he can develop pretty well. 18 million. Happy to sign. Thank you. Okay, and the rest of these guys. Okay, so Robert Quinn is the only guy we're gonna need to look at the end of the year. We're gonna get into scouting college players, and we'll get to the end of the year. So back at the end of year 2, Dolphins went 3-13, so pretty disappointing, but we have good draft picks as well. So go ahead and take a look at some stats. Kyler Murray, looks like he didn't have a very good year. 24 TDs, 19 interceptions, 3,100 yards. Pretty bad for his rookie year. I hope he can do better next season. If not, Kyler Murray might be a bust, and this rebuild might take longer than 5 years. But rushing, Kenyon Drake, 825, 2 touchdowns. Not developing like I had hoped. Not the best running back stats there. Receiving, Kenny Stills. We still don't have a 1,000-yard receiver yet. I was hoping one of these guys would break it, but it doesn't look like it. We got pretty good production out of touchdowns, though. A little better than last year. On the defensive side, McMillan. Our corners and linebackers are still playing pretty well. 4 interceptions for Bobby McCain. Minka Fitzpatrick had 2. Rashad Jones, 4 interceptions. Kiko Alonso, I don't know what's going on with him. He used to be a very good player. I don't know what happened to him. He's regressing pretty good. Robert Quinn, we're deciding if we want to pay him big money. And he ended up having 57 tackles, so not the best year. So we're not going to overpay him, I don't think. We're going to go look at the awards for this year. Ezekiel Elliott won MVP, Baker Mayfield, Dwayne Haskins as well. We might have looked at Dwayne Haskins instead of Kyler Murray. But I think Kyler Murray will help us in the long run. So we'll keep looking at the end of the year and on to the offseason. So if you take a look at the upper left-hand corner, the Cleveland Browns beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl 54, 33-0. Okay, so I'm not even gonna talk about that. 33-0. Well, we have business to do here. Robert Quinn, $12 million. We're already overpaying him, but I don't think we have another choice. So we'll offer him. He's going to go free agency, so we'll take that money and we'll go elsewhere with it. Akeem Spence. Akeem Spence is staying. Walt Aikens, free safety. We'll let him walk, and we'll roll with this. Here in year 2, free agency, we ended up signing Eric Ebron and Josh Sitton, the left guard. Eric Ebron, I decided to bring him in as an 87. He can contribute to the tight end. Dwayne Allen, we let go, and Gesicki is just not producing like we want him to. And so Eric Ebron will hopefully be the answer for that. As well as Josh Sitton, $6 million, 1-year contract. That's kind of a lot of money, but we needed that left guard position, and we'll be upgrading those offensive line positions in the draft as well. And we're back with year 2 draft. Not the most flashy draft we've had, but it was a very productive one. I'm very excited about this guy right here. Trey Smith, the right guard. He's an 80 overall star. So from rookie from Tennessee. So 80 overall star. He will be an absolute monster in the Dolphins front line. So excited about that. Second round, we took Darrell Williams out of Mississippi State, 75 overall. He's a star as well. So I was happy when I picked those two guys. Wasn't really expecting that. Another thing I wasn't expecting, third round, Jonathan Taylor was still there. I understand we picked a lot of offensive guys. We have Kenyon Drake. He's not doing the best. Jonathan Taylor in the third round was something I was very shocked to have. So 79, I think he's quick. So, I mean, that works for me. As well as Isaiah Pryor in the fourth round, Ohio State strong safety, is a 75 quick. And then Jacoby Stevens out of LSU is a 75 quick, strong safety. So we can move those guys around where we want. And then we got some guys on the offensive line as well. So a pretty decent draft. So I'm excited to see how these guys develop as we get into year 3. Roster for year 3, we're still not making any strides to upgrade the overall. Offense has gone up to 79, defense up to a 77. So we will be upgrading that right tackle position, which we didn't last season, and then some guys on the defense. So hopefully this year is nice to us and we can see what's going on here. So at the end of year 3, I decided it was time to fork over some money. 2-year contract for Ndamukong Suh. He's going to be regressing here pretty soon, as well as Melvin Ingram, Ben Gideon, and Obi Melifonwu. Kind of old guys, but we needed the depth, and they weren't too terribly expensive. We have a lot of cap space, so I decided to fork out some money and go to the draft, and we'll see what we can do. So here we go. We had the number 1 pick again, and we got Ibia Anoma out of Alabama, right guard. We desperately needed a right tackle, which we picked up in round 2, but we need a left end, so I'll probably move him over there. And we got our right guard, Rich Bowman, out of Nebraska. We got Kobe Beckett, as well as DJ Cook, right tackle. We picked up Josh Archer out of Maine, quarterback, and then some other defensive guys. So we didn't do too terrible in the draft. This is a complete and utter rebuild. So hopefully at the end of this year we can just straight up be good. So hopefully we'll see what we can do. Offense is upgrading as well, so that's good. And I'll see you guys in season 4. Year 4, this is what our team's looking like. I mean, not bad. Kyler Murray upgraded to an 84 in the offseason and into the preseason. Our defense is still lacking a little bit. Just our secondary needs upgrading, which I think we can do. So we'll see exactly how we do in mid-season. Okay, so at the end of year 4 or 5, not really sure. I have to go back and count. We did not make the playoffs again. So we haven't made the playoffs in any season we've done with the Dolphins so far. 7-9. We're doing a little better. But I mean, look at this team. An 87 offense, 81 defense, 81 overall. Like, look at this offense. Our guys are starting to develop. Things are starting to kick off. So we're going to do another season or 2. This is longer than 5 years, but a lot of our guys are starting to develop now at the end of the year. We'll go ahead and look at some stats. Kyler Murray's an 86, I just saw. So he's finally starting to get better. Still not the production we want from him, but he did put up pretty good numbers. A lot better than he's been doing. 3,700 yards, 34 TDs, 9 interceptions. As well as rushing. Jonathan Taylor put up 1,000 yards. That's what I'm talking about. Good draft from him. Kenyon Drake starting to decline a little bit. Jonathan Taylor will be our running back in the future. Eric Ebron put up good numbers, as well as Albert Wilson again. 11 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. That's what I'm talking about. Kenny Still, 726. So we're getting some production out of our offense now, and this is where we need to upgrade, is our defense. Interceptions, pretty spread out. Defense didn't actually play bad. I think it's just going to take another year or 2 for this team to break out and have the year it needs to have. Baker Mayfield won MVP. And yeah, so I'm getting excited now. 30th in franchise value, but hey, we're starting to get there, I think. It's going to take a little longer than 5 years, I think, but we're going to go ahead, advance to the offseason, see what we can do there, and I think we're on the cusp of making a breakthrough. So here's the draft that we did. Glenn Cohen was the first pick as a middle linebacker, 80 overall. He's a quick development, as well as Russell Clayton, Rodell Talley. So we got some guys that we think can contribute. Not a bad draft, so we'll go ahead and get into the next season. Finally, at the end of year 5 or 6, we made the playoffs. 10-6 Dolphins. We started out 7-0, ended up 10-6, so we barely made it. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and look at some stats for this team. See if Kyler Murray finally broke through. He's playing a lot better. 3,800, 23-6. Jonathan Taylor, 1,100 again. Kenny Drake, 12 TDs, so he's trying to fight for his spot. Kenny Stills, Marquise Brown finally had a good year. Eric Ebron starting to regress a little bit. So we're finally starting to break through. It took a little longer than normal, but we're going to go ahead and get into the playoffs. So here we go, wild card game against the Oakland Raiders. We're already down 7-0. We got some guys that are pretty good, and you know, we're gonna see what we can do with these guys. And we're not playing very good at the start. Red zone here, Kyler Murray. See what we can do. That's what I'm talking about. Touchdown, Kyler Murray. I believe that is Wilson. And first playoff game, it's looking good so far. Being that our fullback is Kenyon Drake. So, if he doesn't score this... Come on, Keenan, there you go. So about the most unflashy play you could probably have, but we end up scoring. Kyler Murray's going to do what he does best and run this one into the end zone for another Dolphins touchdown. and we win our first playoff game of the series. Better late than never, right? Next round of the playoffs, we play the 10-6 Denver Broncos. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that. I will say this now, this will be the last season, so the further we get in the playoffs, the better. And I'll see you guys in the divisional round. We are the away team. We're gonna see what Kyler Murray can do here. Has him wide open. Can't break the tackle, but we're down to the 9-yard line. That's what I'm talking about right there. Marquise Brown, Kyler Murray link up for the first touchdown of the day. With driving down the field, we're down 10-17. It's not looking good for us. We need to get some points right here. Good, Kyler Murray. Keep going. Keep going. Not bad. Not bad. 10, we really need some points. We might go with the deep threat, Hollywood Brown. Still not seeing any. Wait, I see him. Catch up, let's go. Get a block. Keep going, Kenny Stills, atta boy. 30 seconds to make something happen right now. We're gonna try and go back to it, same play. Back of the end zone. He got the feet down that time. Touchdown, Dolphins. We're in charge of getting the touchdown for the Dolphins here. We're going to throw it over the head in the end zone. Touchdown. Kyler Murray and Kenny Stills. Dolphins touchdown. So the 10-6 Dolphins take on the 12-4 Cleveland Browns in the AFC Championship. I'm excited to see how this turns out, and we'll get right into it. Good pass from Kyler Murray. 1 of 3, 26 yards to Marquise Brown. Still trying to score. Kyler Murray. What's he gonna do? Okay, everybody just stop. Oh, Kyler Murray almost got it in. This is probably really stupid, but we're gonna try and pass. We're gonna be looking for Marquise Brown on his slant. If it's not there, we're not gonna force it. It's not there, but I do see, I don't know who that is, but touchdown. So that's gonna be game. We lose 42-24 in the AFC Championship. We played pretty well in the playoffs. I'm pretty proud. So we'll go ahead, get back in the main menu, and we'll finish this out. So we were back in the main menu after losing to the Browns in the AFC Championship. We just couldn't quite get over the hump. This has been a really long rebuild. It took us 5 or 6 years to get to this point. Kyler Murray up to an 89. So maybe down the road I could keep going with this team, but for right now, this is all we're gonna do. I mean, we ended up creating a pretty good team. I'm excited to kind of see where we could go. So this was my first rebuild. This was my first attempt at doing a rebuild like this. So don't roast me too bad. I know I didn't draft, or I probably oversigned or didn't sign enough. So just leave feedback in the comments for me to learn what I'm doing. This was my first attempt, so I'm pretty excited, pretty proud of it. So if you want to see more rebuilds, just let me know, leave a comment, let me know what I did wrong, how I can improve, and I'll see you guys in the next one.